All right, so let's refactor other stuff. So I'm going to refactor the player list now. So let's create another JavaScript file over here inside the import UI components, and I'm going to call this JavaScript file as players list, and hit OK. And from the main.js, I'm just going to copy this player list and just go inside players list. I'm going to create another class over here, and I'm just going to add a export default class, and I'm going to call this as players list, which extends React component. All right, and by default React component needs to have a render function method, and render is going to return us this thing. But before doing that, we need to also have the players data. Let's see how we are going to get that, but let's just return this first. So I'm going to get players data from properties, this dot props dot players data. All right, so let's see if we are missing anything. So we have to inject player. Okay, and let's just remove this and go back to main.js. Simply I'm going to remove this players list. We also don't need a player over here, and let's just insert players list component. Let's see where it is. Okay, it's here. Just inject it in the imports. So I've added players list, and players list expects properties to be passed, and what we are expecting, so it needs to have a player's data. Let's just pass that. So players data is going to be players data, which is this guy. All right, and let's see it again if it's working fine. All right, everything is looking good. Let's add a player, test player. Okay, and let's just increase it, remove it, and delete it. All right, everything is looking good. So we have this add player form. Let's just create another JavaScript file, copy this code, go inside components and JavaScript file. I'm just going to call this as add player. Okay, at this moment, pause this video and try this on your own. Let's see if it's if you're able to do it. Okay, we are back. So we have just copy pasted the code from the main.js, and I'm going to export default class, and the class name is going to be, of course, add player, which extends React. And let's just inject React dot component. So we have to return something, so let's just return this inside render method. All right, so we need to have this insert to db function. I'm just going to copy this, which expects an argument. So the argument is an event. All right, so let's see if we are missing anything. That's it. Let's just quickly delete this. We don't need it anymore. And let's utilize this insert to db over here. So on submit this dot insert to db, I've added that. Now by default, whenever you do on submit, the event will get passed to this function. All right, so let's see if this is working or not. Since I'm exporting this, let's see, go inside the main.js client and remove this add player, and inside the app where we have add player, let's just insert that add player. So I've imported add player from components add player. Okay, so we have players list, add player. Let's see if this is working. Okay, so far looks good. Let's try to add this. Okay, it is working fine. And increase the score. Everything is looking good so far. everything is good, but I'm going to introduce a bug now. So this is just a temp function. Let's do a console.log of the value, whatever value pass. I'm going to do a console log over here, and I'm just going to call this as temp function. So this temp function I'm going to call inside over here, this dot temp function, and I'm just going to pass the player name to this guy, and let's see if still everything is looking good or fine. I'm going to add new player. Okay, ready player 1, and hit add. Oh, there's some error. This .temp function is not a function, but it's already there. So the problem is when we are doing on submit, the on submit is changing the this binding. So on submit triggers this insert to DB, and once I'm inside the this, I'm just going to do a console log over here. The this keyword is missing. It's not there anymore because you are inside the event of click. So this would refer to the click event, and let's try to do that again. Okay, player 1, player 2, and hit add, and you can see it's doing console log over here, and this keyword is referring to the window object and not to the class. So the way you can fix it is simply just call this dot bind. So this dot insert to db dot bind. That's it. I'm going to tell it that bind this keyword inside this function, this keyword inside this function to this, which is this class. Okay, and let's check it out if it's working fine. And I'm just going to add a player. Alright, everything is looking good and there are no errors anymore. Okay, this was just for the education purpose. I'm just going to remove it. I'm going to remove this guy as well, and we don't need it anymore. Alright, so far everything is good. Remove this, and remove this. Alright, so let's just go back to the main.js again, and I want you to do this assignment on your own. Try to refactor the app into a React component, and once you're done, unpause the video. Okay, so I'm just going to do this now. I'm just going to copy this inside the components. I'm going to add a new file over here. This is going to be app.javascript file. Just paste the code. Same thing, export default class. So inside the render method, I'm going to return this. So we need to inject players list, we need to inject add player, and so this title, right? Okay, it was left out. So I'm just going to copy this, go inside app. Okay, we have two apps over here right now. I'm just simply going to delete this guy. Okay, so I'm inside app.js now. Okay, I'm just going to delete this. We don't need it. Okay, so I've just pasted this variables from our main.js, and let's see if it's working fine. We have to import the players API. Okay, my ID has done it for me. Okay, anything is missing? Okay, everything's looking good. So let's just go back to the client main.js, remove this app completely, and you can see everything is already looking good. We don't need this imports anymore, and we need to import the app. Okay, that's it. So our main client main.js is already looking good, and just come over here and see if it's working fine. So I'm just going to add test player, and I'm going to increase the score, reduce the score, and remove it. And that's it from this video. Everything is looking good. Just pause the video wherever you would like to and read the code, understand the code properly, And in the next video, when we meet, we'll be styling. So we'll be adding SAS to our project. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.